Hey everyone, my guest today is Rafael Cohen-Almagor, who is a distinguished Israeli-British academic, educator, and human rights activist, renowned for his extensive contributions to political theory, media ethics, medical ethics, and Israel studies. He earned his doctorate in philosophy and political theory from the University of Oxford in 1991 and holds BA and MA degrees, both magna cum laude, from Tel Aviv University. Currently, he serves as professor of politics and founding director of the Middle East Studies Center at the University of Hull, UK, and as president of the Association for Israel Studies, elected in 2023. Cohen-Almagor has held prestigious positions, including as visiting professor at UCLA, Johns Hopkins University, and Lund University, and distinguished visiting professor at University College London. He is also a fellow at the Israel Institute for Advanced Studies in Jerusalem and a global fellow at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. With over 19 books and 300 articles published, his notable works include Confronting the Internet's Dark Side from 2015, Just Reasonable Multiculturalism from 2021, and The Republic, Secularism, and Security from 2022. His scholarship emphasizes themes of mutual respect, human dignity, and social responsibility, particularly in the context of free expression, multiculturalism, and peace negotiations. Welcome, Raphael.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yes, you too. You're speaking from the UK today, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. All right. So, like I said, your credentials you have a very interesting life. So it was hard to choose where to even begin. So I'm just going to kind of start with the first topic I found interesting. Are liberalism and multiculturalism reconcilable?
Yeah, well, this is something that I've been working on for a very long time. 1992, quite a while ago, I helped to establish a think tank at the Van der Jerusalem Institute that aimed to understand the relationship between Israel and Europe. To what extent Israel is influencing Europe, and to what extent Europe is influencing Israel. And I decided to focus my attention on the issue of culture or multiculturalism. And at that time, I was specifically intrigued by two major issues. One is the issue of female circumcision that was taking place among Bedouin tribes in the south of Israel and among some Arabs. And the second one that troubles me a great deal is women coercion by Jewish law, halakha, it's called halakha, Jewish law. To what extent is it justified that secular women who do not believe in God, who are normally Jewish but not religious, to what extent they should adhere to all the Jewish law norms and dictates that discriminate against them, essentially. I don't like discrimination, so I thought these are good topics. So these were two major issues that I tackled. It was a 3-year sort of a project. We were financed by the Volkswagen Foundation from Germany. And as you know, because you know something about me, I do many, many things.
Yes.
So it's about 1995, I decided to do some other things, and I left it there. And then at 2011, I was already living in the United Kingdom, and my Prime Minister, David Cameron, came out with what I deem to be a very irresponsible statement in which he said that multiculturalism in the United Kingdom failed and that multiculturalism doesn't benefit the UK, that it increases or promotes polarization in society, that it brings about political extremism, that it discriminates against women, and that it might lead to terrorism. And I said, wow. No, I was utterly flabbergasted by these statements that I deem to be utterly irresponsible coming from the office of the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
So I decided to go back to my research about multiculturalism and to examine to what extent multiculturalism and liberalism are reconcilable, if they are reconcilable. And this was a project that started in 2011 and completed in 2021 when I published my book, Just Reasonable Multiculturalism. So in this book, I developed a theory. I like to originate theories and to examine case studies in light of theories. So this is a theory about the relationship between liberalism and multiculturalism, and to what extent one can live with the other. So the theory is based on several layers of arguments. One is the layer of justice, which I believe is the most important value. If we all be just people, I don't think that there would be many problems in the world. We'll be able to sort this out. The second is the issue of reasonableness. To what extent some practices are reasonable. So we need to have some yardsticks to decide this thing.
Hmm.
And I also invoked uh, the harm principle. This is something that philosopher by the name John Stuart Mill had said. Essentially, the harm principle said that you can do whatever you want, provided you don't harm others. So this
Okay.
is the harm principle.
Hmm.
And the issue of um, different cultures living in certain democratic societies. Now, I'm not interested in multiculturalism outside of the spheres of liberal democracy. The book is about the reconcilability between liberalism and multiculturalism. So, if we're talking about authoritarian regimes, not interested. I mean, all the theory that I'm going to invoke is going to be fooled within seconds, because all the values that I believe and I endorse, which are liberty, tolerance, and pluralism, and respect for others, not harming others, and so on, these are not applicable in authoritarian regimes. So once I
Hmm.
invoked the theory, then I started to examine case studies.
Okay.
And I separate between case studies that are physical harm. So if I punch your nose, you're going to bleed, and this is noticeable. So some
Hmm.
physical harm.
Okay.
And I then went to examine harms that are not physical. I think that physical harm is easier because uh, it's noticeable. It's more problematic when we're talking about non-physical harm. So by physical harm, I mean cultural rights that some groups adhere to. Unfortunately, also in the United Kingdom and in the United States and in Canada,
Hmm.
in liberal societies. So one
Yep.
is murder for family honor. So to preserve the honor and the dignity of the family, in some communities, there is a dictate to murder a member of the family who misbehaves. And
Right.
surprise, surprise, 100% of these members are females.
Right.
But this is to show the dominance of the man over the female. What is allowed to men is not allowed to women. So in some communities, if a girl or a woman is going outside and is walking together with a man who is not a husband or family member, she
Hmm.
might be killed. I'm not saying
Yeah.
kissing or, God forbid, having sex, just showing herself in public with a foreign man, that
Uh,
might lead to her assassination. And I think this is despicable. I don't have any
right.
other words. Okay, so I don't think that
Hmm.
any liberal democracy, any liberal society should tolerate such practice.
Hmm.
That's my belief. So this was one claim, and I based this on the theory that I developed, and I think it's quite easy to persuade people who believe in equality between genders.
Yeah.
Second physical harm is female infanticide. So in some cultures, if a baby is born and her gender is female, she might be killed. Why?
Yeah.
Because to have a baby girl, then a girl, then an adult girl, then a woman, for some people, is a hassle. It's a constant worry. She, according to that culture, she doesn't bring much utility to the family, but she brings a lot of worries. She can't help in physical work that is needed in the house, in the farm, in the household, in the factory, in the family business. She's not qualified. She's not smart enough. She's a girl, nuisance. So in some cultures, they kill such girls. I think it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It is
So
horrible.
physical harm, these are easy cases. And then I go to more questionable cases like female circumcision that has several scales of harm, from very, very rough torture, I would say, to symbolic sort of a scar on the outer labia. I don't have much issues with scarring the outer labia, I have to say, because it's much like male circumcision, which I also studied. And I argue that if you come to symbolic sort of harm, in a way they try to reconcile between culture and liberal democracy and respect for others and not harming others and so on. This is something that I am willing to tolerate. Torture, I'm unwilling to tolerate. So that's out of question. This is not something that I will tolerate. There's also the issue of fasting to starvation. And the argument is that if it's done by the consent of the person, and here we have also men actually that are doing this fast, it's happening in some cultures in India, that they believe that when people come to an elderly age and they become some sort of a liability on society and the community, they should retire. In some Inuit Eskimo tribes, they go and die in the snowfields. When it comes to people, grown-up people, with the full capacity of the mind, with no coercion, who decide to take their own lives, I don't find it extremely problematic. It's not something that I endorse. I would endorse the community to hug this person, to embrace this person, to show this person that we appreciate all the journey that he went or she went all her life contributing to the community. Now it's time to give them back, to compensate them for all the hard work and actually to help them. That would be my attitude. But if the culture is endorsing another aspect of and define dignity in such death, that I think I'm willing to tolerate this. This is about physical harm. Now, I said there's also non-physical harm that for me is as important to tackle because it is no less harmful, although it's not physical. One is denied education to women and children. Again, it's never denied education to men. It's always women who have to succumb to the whims of men, but there's some cultures in which women are not allowed to study, are denied education. And I think this is wrong because it prevents women from self-development. They cannot really develop to the extent that autonomy may wish. So I think this is terribly wrong. And similarly, I think it's wrong to deny children education. This is happening, for instance, in Haredi communities. Haredi meaning ultra-religious Jewish. And it's
Okay.
also happening in the Amish community in North America. In the Amish community, they receive education, children receive education, not have terribly good education, but they receive education until the age of 16. And
Mhm.
then the expectation from them is to go and work in the farm.
Mhm.
I think this is wrong. I think that they should be educated in accordance to the curricula of the states, either the United States or Canada, not according to the Amish curricula, which doesn't support the study of sciences, doesn't support the study of mathematics, doesn't support the study of history, American history, Canadian history, and so on, but supports agricultural life, religious life, and so on. And by equipping them with this very, very minimal education, those Amish people, when they grow up, would like to leave the community. They have very limited options. They have
Right.
their ability to integrate into the large society is not great. They can do most of the time manual work, but
Mhm.
because they lack any kind of education, they have to start really all over again just to catch up to the standards
Yeah.
of the average American or Canadian. So I think this is wrong as well.
Yeah.
So this is an issue of harming people not by physical way, but by non-physical way. And then I'm going to, in the last two chapters of the book, I'm examining two case
Mhm.
studies. One is about Israel, the other is about France. In both countries, security is invoked to restrict minorities and to restrict women in both of them. So, in the name of security,
Mhm.
it is allowed to discriminate against Arabs, which I'm very much against. In the name of security in France, some things that you and I think, just looking at you the way you dress, um, I think that two of us think that it is prerogative to decide how to dress.
Mhm.
I mean, we do this every day. Every day we
Yeah.
dress up. Some of us may want to keep ourselves with our pajamas if we don't go out, but still it is our decision.
Mhm.
And some of us, when we go out, we decide to dress accordingly. If we go to a party, we dress in one fashion. We go to work, we dress in another. We go to do some sport activities, we dress accordingly and so on.
Mhm.
In France, this wonderful society, big society, with huge influence on the world, they are obsessed by the way that women dress. And I simply
Yeah.
could not get it. Why do you care how women dress?
Mhm.
We do it every day. Why do you care? It's none of your business. Some of the women like to dress mini. The French people say it's absolutely fine. Some of the women like to dress midi. The French people say it's absolutely fine. Some
Mhm.
of the women likes to dress maxi. The French people say it's absolutely fine. But if a woman decide to put a veil around the face, or God forbid, to put a veil on her face, this is not
Mhm.
acceptable. Why do you care? Why
Right.
suddenly this is the state business? Um, I was very intrigued with this issue. So I went to France to study this and to listen to people with all walks of life, those who endorse this practice and those who do not endorse the practice, just to try and understand. And from this, the result was another book that I published in the field of multiculturalism that came in 2022,
Okay.
which is called Security, Liberty, and Individuality. And this is about the French secularism that prohibits women dress. And as you can understand,
Okay.
uh, I don't think that it conforms with liberal ideas.
It's interesting to me that I don't know if people don't like the veil because they think maybe the women are oppressed and they're trying to fight for that woman. But if she wants to dress that way, that should be her right to wear those clothes.
Yeah, but
Uh,
those who argue for coercion say
Mm,
that the women are not free to voice their opinion.
right.
So they are coerced to be dressed like this, and therefore we are going to free them. We are going to let them free. Notwithstanding what the
Right.
women says, the women may say, "I opt to do this. This is my choice."
Yes.
But the friend say, "No, no, no, no. Let me save you."
Hmm.
It's like the Boy Scout who coerces an elderly woman to cross the street. That will be his good deed for the day.
Hmm.
I think that we have to listen to these women. Now, if
Yes.
women need help because they are living under duress, because their life are coerced and they are not free to live their lives, the society, of course, need to help them. I'm not saying
Hmm.
to desert them, God forbid, no. But if a woman says, listen, this is my choice, let me live my life. I don't like to be gazed at.
Hmm.
I don't like to be people to stare at me. I like my privacy. So when I'm walking with the burqa, with the niqab or whatever, I want to feel secure. This is the way that I feel secure. By the way, there are some women who say that if they are not going to adhere to this, their men are not going to let them out of the house.
Right.
So, all the research that I've conducted, I did not find any persuasive argument to deny women the right to dress as they wish. I
Hmm.
think this is something that should be given to all people by the very virtue that we believe in liberty and tolerance, being living in liberal society.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to tell you about one of my sponsors real quick. Sometimes I need a boost before my bike ride, but pounding an energy drink or coffee beforehand just isn't an option. What I love about Quantum Energy Squares is that they're made with 10 grams of plant protein and 100 milligrams of natural caffeine, equal to an 8-ounce cup of coffee. I get the boost I need without having to drink the fluids that weigh me down or cause a pit stop during my ride. They have over 2,500 reviews, with customers raving about their delicious flavors like caramel almond sea salt and my favorite, dark chocolate pink Himalayan salt. My discount code gives you 25% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit quantumsquares.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Do you think a two-state solution is viable?
We are moving away now from multiculturalism to the Israeli
Oh, yeah.
Palestinian.
Sorry, I kind of did a hard shift.
Okay. Well, fair disclosure, I have to say that I'm a
Yes.
peacenik. Uh, I
Uh,
mean that I am a person of peace, and I've been very much involved in the peace camp in Israel long before I was an academic.
okay.
I started to be involved in Israeli politics in the early 1980s. I was fortunate to work with some of the leaders of Israel, so I know politics from close. Um, I became, if you like, a politician or small politician with a small p
Uh-huh.
before I became a political scientist. So this is before I
Okay.
studied, before I went to university.
Okay.
And I still belong to the peace camp. I believe in peace. Peace is extremely important to me.
Mhm.
And I've been active in the peace camp, as I said, from the 1980s. I still remain active. In 2013, I decided to write a book about resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Yeah.
And this is the title of the book that, God willing, is going to be published next year by Cambridge
Okay.
University Press. So this is a
Okay.
work that has been occupying my mind now for 13 years or 12 years, 13 years. Um, I believe that the present situation is horrible.
Mhm.
I also believe it is unacceptable. I told you that the most important value for me is justice.
Mm.
And if you come to Israel and you visit the occupied territories, the West Bank, Gaza, you see that the way that the Palestinians live is unjust. It's unjust because the occupation is unjust. The occupation denies basic freedoms of humans. And I came to see the occupation from close when I visited the occupied territories, the West Bank, back in 1985. And I was horrified to see that we Jews, Israelis, we subject people to such living conditions that for me are unacceptable. So I would not be able to live in such a state. I would probably leave. I would go
Okay.
away. I would find a way to go out because denial of freedom for me is something that is not acceptable. I
Mm.
can't accept this. I can't accept that someone is going
Yeah.
to tell me,
Yeah.
today you cannot go and work your farm. Today you cannot go and study. Why? Because I feel like it. Because I am the person with a rifle and you don't have a rifle. I stand in the checkpoint
Right.
and today I decide you do not pass. And
Right.
this is just one example of the restrictions that many Palestinians have to endure as a result of the occupation. So
Right.
my starting point is that the present situation is unacceptable. That means that the
Mhm.
present situation has to be replaced. And it has to be replaced by a just situation, a
Right.
situation that is going to be just for both communities, for the Israelis and for the Palestinians alike. Nothing short of that is acceptable to me. And nothing short of that should be acceptable to any human being across the planet, and including the Palestinians, of course, because these are the
Mhm.
people in concern. They have to
Mhm.
suffer the position of this occupation. When Israel occupied the West Bank and Gaza and the Golan Heights in the north back in 1967 as a result of the Six-Day War, I do not think that when the war started, Israeli leaders thought that first Israel is going to occupy all this territory.
Mhm.
It was a magnificent achievement, a magnificent victory to conquer all this space territory within a span of 6 days.
Yeah.
This glorious victory became a curse because with this territory that the Israeli leader wanted came all the people with it. Today, between
Okay.
the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, the number of Arabs and Jews is almost identical. It's
Okay.
around 7.5 million Jews and 7.5 million Arabs. Israel is about 10.4 million people. 21% of the Israelis, meaning 1.5, 1.7, something like that, million Israelis are Palestinians.
Okay.
These are Palestinians who would like to reside in Israel, however they are. So I don't count them together with the Palestinians in the West Bank and in
Mhm.
Gaza. But still, we're talking about different people with different ideologies, with different religions, different nationalities, who are living
Mhm.
in this territory between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. We have to make this territory something that is amicable and just for all, not only for the
Yeah.
Jews.
Right.
And I believe that in the long run, I'm not talking about the next 50 years, I'm not talking about the next 100 years.
Mhm.
I'm talking now for generations to come. Israel is in a very isolated place in the Middle East. It is surrounded by many Arab countries and by many
Uh-huh.
Muslim countries. There are no
Yep.
Christian countries, and so there are no Jewish countries around. Israel is the only Jewish
Right.
country in the world. So, in the long run, when we're talking about history, hundreds of years, the
Mhm.
key for Israel's survival is its integration into the Middle East. Israel must
Okay.
find a way to integrate itself and be accepted as part and parcel of the Middle East by its neighbor. If it's not
Mhm.
going to be accepted, then there will be constant hostilities, constant fighting, and many
Yeah.
wars. And I don't like war. Actually, if there's
Right.
something I really don't like that I abhor is war. War is the most horrible thing that can ever happen to you. The key for Israel's integration into the Middle East is to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Okay.
Now, the book is about the solution. So the book is um, when I had the book in my mind before
Mhm.
writing it, what I wanted to do three things. I wanted to examine all the key junctions, peace junctions from Oslo 1993 until now, and to see why we still yearn for peace, why we didn't achieve it despite really extreme effort that were invested by Israelis, Palestinians, Americans, Europeans, others, why we're still yearning for peace. Secondly, I wanted that if an opportunity would present itself, that my book will serve as a toolkit to do it right.
Okay.
So the
Yeah.
diplomats, the politicians, they can use my book to understand how to do negotiations in the correct way. What
Mhm.
are the keys for successful negotiations, mediation, and facilitation?
Mhm.
And thirdly, to review some of the proposals to solve the problem, the conflict, and to invoke my solution. So these are the three things that I wanted to do before I started the book, writing of the book, just starting the research.
Yeah.
I started to write the book in 2022 after 9 years of
Okay.
research.
Okay.
Majority of the time was spent by going to archives. I went to archives in London, in Jerusalem, in Washington, and in Oslo, and by in-depth interviews with people around the table who negotiated peace. Presidents, prime ministers, foreign ministers, royalty, deputy prime ministers, senior diplomats from 10
Mhm.
countries and the United Nations. It's gold what I found, more than 100 interviews, each interview more than 2 hours, so in-depth
Uh-huh.
interviews with very senior people. The book is based on the archives and on the interviews. And when I started writing, my first chapter was about Oslo. When
Okay.
I finished writing about Oslo, I examined how much I wrote of the book, and it was 25,000 words. That means
Okay.
that I could not cover all the key junctions
Yeah.
because a book has to be limited. Otherwise, I'm not going to write a book. I'm going to write an encyclopedia. And that's
Yep.
not my intention. I want to write a book, one book to start with. So I decided to limit myself to three junctions:
Okay.
Oslo, Camp David 2000, and negotiations between Prime Minister Ehud Olmert and President Mahmoud Abbas. These were the three main important key junctions in which peace was seen achievable, but did not materialize. So this is one major section of the book. This occupies um, the majority of the book. There's a theoretical chapter,
Okay.
but my theory always there is a theory, underpinning theory. Then there are the chapters, and then in the last two chapters, I speak about the keys for successful negotiation, mediation, facilitation, and my proposal. Now, because the book is not published yet, and I don't want to spoil the publication, I want you and your listener to actually read the book, hopefully to buy the book. I'm not going to tell you
Okay.
what is my solution. You'll have to wait.
Okay.
What I can tell you is that it is a just solution.
Okay.
It's reasonable, and I think it's doable. I think it is the most practical and realistic solution. Not today. Okay,
Okay.
I'm a very optimistic person. I believe in peace, but I'm also a very realistic person. Now, the two societies, the Israeli and the Palestinians, are under trauma. We're talking about
Mhm.
two traumatized, very angry, full
Yes.
of hate societies, deep
Mhm.
hatred. So even if there were peaceniks between the Palestinians and the Israelis,
Mhm.
the peaceniks understand that now it's not the right time to push this because we have to think of a time that is ripe.
Mhm.
What do I mean by ripe? I mean by uh, a situation in which the two leaders, the Israeli and the Palestinian, believe that they have to seize the opportunity now because otherwise the future is going to be worse. So
Yeah.
better do it now.
Yeah.
And we are not there now. We we're aching. The Israeli society is
Mhm.
aching because of what happened on the 7th of October 2023
Mhm.
when the Hamas terror organization entered into Israeli territory and killed about 1,200 people, raped women, torched houses, killed babies,
Yeah.
and took with them 251 Israelis into Gaza.
Mhm.
50 of the hostages are still there. And I can tell you, last year I lived in Israel for 1 year. Usually I'm
Okay.
living in the UK, but last year I returned to
Okay.
work on my book at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. I can tell you that each and every day I was aching over the hostages. And
Mhm.
as the war proceeded, I was aching about what's going on in Gaza. And in the later stage, I was calling to end the war. And this is what I'm doing now in the
Yes.
social media almost on a daily basis. I'm calling to retrieve the hostages, to end the war, and to start to rebuild Gaza. I
Mhm.
think that this war is, at this point, it is futile. If I were a prime minister of Israel, I would not conduct the war in such a way. My highest priority would be to first bring the hostages back home.
Mhm.
It's against all the values on which I was raised to leave so many Israelis in Gaza in a state of torture. This is against all that I believe. Some of these people, many of these people, are either soldiers or people who lived very, very close to the border.
Mhm.
And the grotesque thing is that many of the people who established these kibbutzim, these settlements outside of Gaza, they came there from ideology, from peace ideology. They came there to be close to the Gazans in order to help them. That's why they came there. They came to live a life in hopefully that they will be the bridge to Gaza so they can support them, offer them work, communicate with them, find a way to make the situation less worse for the Gazans. And
Yeah.
when 7 October happened, Hamas didn't ask about their political or ideological views. They just massacre everyone. And now
Yeah.
these people who have been fighting all their life for Israel and for peace are in a
Mhm.
state of torture. Um, and I found it unacceptable. I don't understand how the prime minister can sleep at night. Um,
Yeah.
I don't. I, I I think it's irresponsible. We need to be responsible for our citizens. Each
Mhm.
leader needs to be responsible for his or her citizens. And I can't imagine that, something like this happen and they spend, I don't know how many days now. It's 260, I don't know, more than 2 years. It's almost 2 years now. In October, it's
Mhm.
going to be 2 years. It's
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have any words for that. So there will be
Yeah.
peace, but I'm afraid, I think it's not going to be in my lifetime. I hope
Yeah.
maybe in my children's lifetime, maybe in my grandchild lifetime. I don't know. I have one grandchild. So I hope maybe he will see the light. But
Yeah.
I think the Israeli children and the Palestinian children deserve better.
Yeah.
And I want to see the day in which they play together rather than shoot each other.
Yeah, I can see why it would take a long time to get there, especially with everything still being there's still hostages. To say everything is fresh isn't even a good way to explain it because it's still happening. In, but I'm excited for when your book comes out to read the solution that you propose to that.
Okay. And maybe we can have
Yeah.
another meeting and discuss the solution.
Yes, I would love that. Yeah. I was going to ask you what your solution is, but that was obviously a smart move not to talk about it today. So, all right. And your other books are available on Amazon, correct?
All of them, well, the Hebrew ones not, I don't think so. But there are those in English. The majority of the book are
Okay.
on Amazon. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes, and I hope those who listen to you may have the appetite, at least, to read the books that I mentioned.
Yes. I really appreciate you talking about this because we here in the United States, I don't believe we get too much information from people actually living in the area, actually experiencing what's going on. We only hear the headlines. So, you definitely offered some information that will be new to the people who listen to this episode. So, I really
I,
appreciate it.
I want to emphasize that there are no angels in this story.
Okay.
Don't think in angelic terms, because Israel is not angelic, the Palestinians are not angelic. Both societies made many mistakes. But it's
Yeah.
time to prepare, time to change, time to
Hmm.
think about the future in positive way. Too much blood has been shed, and too much
Yeah.
energies were invested in hatred and bloodshedding. I think that should be enough. We don't know the exact number of Gazans who were killed in this war, but
Hmm.
estimates range between 64 to 82,000 people. That's a very large number of people.
Yes.
Large swaths of Gaza are demolished. It will take years to reestablish Gaza. These people don't have a job. They don't have work. They don't have horizon. They don't have future.
Hmm.
I hope that the people in Gaza understood what the organization that they elected, Hamas, they elected them to power, what they did, that they should understand that what they did is not resistance, but actually it's pure terrorism. Resistance, you resist occupation, you resist soldiers.
Hmm.
But to go to a house, rape the woman is there, torture her, kill a baby in front of his slightly older brother,
Yeah.
take the husband with them to Gaza, and do a score of atrocious things. This is not resistance.
Right.
This is gruesome brutality, terrorism. It doesn't have any other name. The Palestinians should understand by now. They tried to resist and to resort to violence and terror since 1967, even before,
Hmm.
unsuccessfully. If at all, Israel grew bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's a society that thrives. What about you, Palestinians? What did you get until now? What did you get? What this violence has brought upon you? The only
Yeah.
thing that the violence brought upon you is more violence. That's the only thing that violence actually yield, more
Hmm.
violence. Does it really worth it? I'm not condoning the Israeli occupation. I said, no, it's abominable. I would not be able to live there. So I'm not condoning it. I want it to end.
Hmm.
But you also have to work together with Israel, that Israel should feel safe next to you. Because
Yeah.
what 7 October did is to say, we can't trust you.
Hmm.
We Israelis cannot trust you because we're afraid that on another day, 8th of October 2027, you'll do it again. You
Right.
put the Israeli society into trauma, severe trauma, because Israelis never believed that A, that it can happen, and B, that you want it to happen. I mean,
Mhm.
you don't get anything from that. See what kind of a state you are now. Now Palestinians saying, oh, we are missing Gaza of 2022. With all the horrible situation they were in, but now they miss their life then. Because now
Right.
they're very miserable.
Yeah.
I don't think that violence is ever a solution. It's not a solution for Israel. It's not a solution for Palestinians. It's not a solution for Russia. It's not a solution for Ukraine. We
Mhm.
should know better. We are excelling killing each other, humanity excels in killing each other. But we know better. We also produce the magnificent brains that ever walk this planet of all the animals. We should work our brains to bring peace, not war.
Mhm. Yeah. I agree. Those
Good
are
to see you.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing all of that. I am excited for the new book to come
Thank
out.
you very
So,
much, Jade. I appreciate it.
yes, thank you.
Very good to see you.
All right.
Thank
You
you.
too.